Alone in one of the bays between the piers on the north side of the nave, there is a striking memorial to the Reverend James Britton, Doctor of Divinity, who, after graduating from Christ Church, Oxford, was Master of Durham School for 30 years between 1782 and 1811, then becoming vicar of the country village of Bossall in the Vale of York, until his death at the age of 77 in 1836. He is buried at St Botolph's Church in Bossall. A few years later, some of his former pupils in Durham commissioned this monument, which stands in the cathedral. The effigy of Britton, a model for which was exhibited at the Royal Academy in 1839, is the work of a London sculptor by the name of Charles Raymond Smith, perhaps best known in the North East for his statue of Grace Darling in the churchyard at Bamborough. The learned and dignified schoolmaster is depicted reclining on a rolled-up cushion, his eyes intent on the book open in his hands. I like to think he must be concentrating hard on what he is reading, because such is the perilous angle of the book that with only a moment's lapse it will fall to the floor beneath, or if perhaps he nods off during one of the cathedral sermons. There must have been something rather special about James Britton for him to have merited this singular memorial in the nave, opposite the grand, if battered, medieval tombs of the Neville family. Even more than 25 years after he had left Durham School, those former pupils of his who clubbed together to pay for the monument must have remembered him with warmth and affection. They valued him, says the Latin epitaph inscribed on the plinth, as a loyal teacher and friend, and among the phrases used to expound his virtues are some drawn from the Roman poet Horace. Their beloved teacher was integer vitae, wholesome of life, and propositi tenax, firm of purpose. These classical allusions are a touching tribute to the education which they had received all those years before at his hands, and would surely have pleased the teacher whom the epitaph describes as preeminently learned in Greek and Latin literature. James Britton's lessons were evidently not lost on his pupils.